Welcome to the training video for the transfer application. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the user perspective. When a user first goes to the application, they will be greeted with this landing page, which is a calendar of the upcoming week. This is the upcoming work week, including Saturday and Sunday, because maybe trips could be scheduled on the weekend and so forth, because of the flexible nature of the organization, or the nature of the organization in general. So what this view allows you to do is to be able to see requests that you have made and other people have made and the status of those requests and so forth. You have an option to also click on the day and see a breakdown of the day. So what we're going to do right now is log in as a user that's already registered and make a request and see how that functionality works. So once you're logged in, you have an additional option here called trips. Now this is your trip inbox. By default, this is the view you get when you click on trips, and then there's your request. And you can make a request. So we're going to make a request for today's date at 11, and we're going to let that go to 13 hours. Number of passengers is 4. The location is home. Destination is work. And the reason is meeting. So your status is set to pending by default. You can't change this. So we're going to make a request. Now, once we've made the request, you get the alert telling you that your request has been made. And if you click in your request inbox, you see the new request there, and you can click on it and see the details. More importantly, you can delete the request right from here. So if you made a mistake or something, you could delete it. It's not a big deal. So it's just a request for transfer. So you can click on the week, and you can see that your request is there with a nice little thumbnail indicating some basic information about the request. You can drill down on the request, get some more information. You can also click on the day and see the request and the period for which the request is being scheduled for. So as a user, these are your options, right? You can log in, you can make a request, you can log out, right? And if you log out, the request is still there. You can still drill down. You can still get the information. It's not confidential information or anything, right? But you can't make any changes, or you can't request a trip as a user as log out. But if you just quickly want to get some information about, what's going on or how to schedule your week and so forth, you can do it from this perspective quite easily without having to go through the hassle of logging in. So you can make a decision and then move forward. So that's about it for the user perspective. So the next part of the video, we're going to discuss the administrative perspective, which has a lot more features. We're going to take a look at the administrative perspective of the application. As you can see, we're starting out the same place the user started out, but now we're going to log in as the admin. So now we're logged in as the administrator. We have the same perspective the user had. We also have the same options to select a day view, drill down on the details, select the request from the week view, and drill down on the details. The administrator also has some additional options, right? Like the option to create drivers and vehicles and update them and delete them. And yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm going to demonstrate some of that. We are going to edit driver. I'm going to edit myself. So here I am. I'm going to put myself on leave and do that. So now I am on leave. I can add a new driver, name and last name and phone number. And we're going to submit that. So now the new driver is added to the application. If we go over to vehicles, we can do the same thing. So we're gonna edit this vehicle to change the capacity to 9. And as you can see, that is updated. The capacity has been changed, and we're gonna add a new vehicle. Capacity is 4. Registration number is that, and we're gonna make it a truck, and we're going to update that. So now that gets added. And just realized that the truck needs to be able to carry 2 people up front. Submit that. So here we go. So that's about it for the CRUD operations. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Now we have the administrative view, and in the administrative view, you will be able to see all the requests that have been submitted. This is where you manage your requests. So this is where you will deny a request, this is where you will approve a request, and everything else. But this initial view allows you right now to do 2 things, right? We're going to add more options as the user uses the application, and more things become apparent. But right now, there's just this view where you can filter the request. You can filter by the user that requested it, the day for a particular request, and whatever status it is, right? So that's it. And you can also see which current jobs are active by clicking on the active tab. So right now we have no current jobs active, so nothing's going to show up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this request that we have for today, and this is the management view for the request. So you have your start point, your end point, number of passengers, and the status of the request. So what we're going to do is we are going to approve this request. So we come down here, we select approved, and we make a comment. As you can see, as you make the changes here, it gets updated on the right. So you build the request over here on the left, and it gets updated on the right in real time. However, these changes are not permanent until you update the trip, right? These changes have not been made on the DB side. You are just seeing the changes here. If you make any mistakes or whatever it is, you can change it before you save it. Consider the update trip button as a save button. So what you're going to do is, in order for this to make sense, we need to add a driver. So we're going to select a driver from our list. As you can see, if a driver is on leave or sick or whatever it is, and you try to select that driver, it's not going to allow you to do that. But we're going to select a driver here, James Bond. So James is now attached to this request. So you can remove James, add James back, and so forth. We're going to add a vehicle. So we have 4 people, so we're going to select this vehicle. Right, so in the request now, that information is there, it is updated, and what we're going to do is update the trip. Once you approve the trip and you update the trip after you've approved it, that trip now becomes live. So you can check that trip out, right? So if you go back to your week, you can see that the trip has changed color slightly, right? And you can select the trip and see that that trip is now updated. So we're going to go back to the admin view and select the trip. Oh, also in the admin view, you can see which driver is attached. If you have multiple drivers attached here, they're all going to show up in this list. So trip is attached, sorry, the driver is attached, the vehicle is attached, the trip is approved. So what do we want to do? We want to check the trip out. So because now is later than when it was requested, it's going to look a little bit weird, but we're going to just check the trip out, at which point the start time is going to change for this trip. So now that you check the trip out, you have the actual time. So there's 2 times here. There's the pickup time, that is the time that you have requested, and then there's the start time. And start time is a reflection of when the trip actually started, because you can make a request, a vehicle might not be available, circumstances might change, maybe the reason, maybe there's a meeting or whatever it is, and that needs to be pushed back. So the actual time that the trip started is different than the time that was requested. So you would be able, when you actually check the trip out, that's when that start time gets applied. And that start time also is reflected in the week and the day view. So as you can see, now that the trip has been checked out, you no longer have the option to remove the driver or remove the vehicle or make any other update changes to this trip. When you check the trip in, the trip is closed. So no other changes can be reflected from, no other changes can be made to the trip. So that's about it for this particular aspect. I'm going to give it some time and then I'm going to check the trip out so you can see actual reflection of what it's going to look like with actual start time and end time. Because the start time and the end time will change based on what is the actual start time and the actual end time. So your calendar will update and replace the pickup time or the estimated pickup time and the estimated end time with actual start time and actual end time. Okay, so the application has been up for a while. If you go to the week, you will see the trip is here, and it's a little bit minimized, right, because the start time has changed as indicated before. So that's a little bit smaller, sorry. So go back to the admin view, we select our trip, the vehicle is returned, and now we want to check it out. When we check it out, the end time gets added, and as you can see, there are no more options. If you revisit the calendar, you can see the actual time reflected in the time span, right, from the start point to the end point. So that is what there's a completed trip. If you go back to the admin view, you can now see the trip is there. You can view the details and so forth about that particular trip. What I neglected to show you guys was what an active trip would look like. So let me just do that quickly. We're gonna make a request. We're gonna leave the time, but we're gonna leave the time the way it is. We're gonna set this a little bit higher so we can see the span. Make this 18. So location Miami, destination work, reason. And we're going to submit that, and as you can see, it's there in the sending order, the last thing first, and you get our notification request has been added and so forth. We're going to go to the admin view now, and we are going to attach driver and vehicle. We're going to quickly just approve this. Oh, by the way, if you approve it without updating it, you don't get the option to check it out. It just updates the trip in the DB, but you don't get the option to check it out because it's still pending. So you make changes or whatnot, but unless it's approved, you don't get the option to check out. So once it's approved, then you get the option to check it out. So we're going to check it out. That means it's started. And if we go back to the admin view and click on the active report, you can see that trip is there. So let's say you have several trips outstanding. You can come to this view, see them all, check them out at the same time. Or if you're trying to generate some kind of report or something based on the current active trips, or you want to know how many vehicles are outstanding because you want to make a new request or you want to do something, this view is available to you. So that's about it for the administrative view. The feature set for the application right now is kind of limited, but this is based on the requirements. And I'm sure as additional requirements are made, additional requests are made for additional features, we're gonna add it to the application. Um, Also, the application is set up using Socket.io, so it's updated in real time across the entire network and all that fun good stuff. So at some point, I'm going to do a video for developers on the technical breakdown how the application works, because I think it's built on the mean stack, so it's a good um, example or representation of how to use Angular 6 with underlying Redux kind of architecture. So the main technologies here are just Express, Node, Angular, MongoDB, and Socket.io and NGXX, which I'm using for the Redux type functionality. So that's about it for me. I hope this video was helpful, and yeah, I'm